Hi, my name is Melissa Edwards, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Eyes on Probate Action Against Abuse. I'm a caregiver, an advocate, and a sister of a person that has been abused by the probate court system since about 2010. I recently got my JD, my Juris Doctorate. I plan to use that degree to open a law firm to practice in areas that are focused on public interest, such as elder law, disability law, civil rights law, consumer law, legal malpractice, and the like. The purpose of me practicing in specific areas of law because I noticed that those that are specifically victimized by the probate court system need help in those areas. Specifically, they need help to not only learn how to avoid probate court altogether, but to different methods they can use to get out of probate court, get the guardianship terminated, and also work to hold people accountable. Eyes on Probate, that is a nonprofit end of it that will do court watching, basically watching for misconduct from any court officers such as judges, lawyers, public guardians, and the like. Not only will we assist those that are victimized by probate court in reporting these incidences to different oversight bodies, but we will also be legislating for policy change, i.e. presenting different ideas for laws or different amendments to laws to Michigan legislator in the hopes that they will implement these laws to do such things such as improve the oversight bodies that are already in place. So you won't have people policing themselves. Basically, you can have public as members of the board that police and do discipline to whoever violates ethical or legal rules of law. Also, they have oversight bodies itself for people that work as guardians to not only require them to be licensed, but require them to renew their license every so often. They have their files audited to be monitored, and also to be to lose their position or their ability to be a guardian if they are found to be abusive or exploiting their wards. And also they have to put on a registry list so they will be known as a person that abused their wards, so they won't get another job as a guardian, things of that sort. I also want to let you know that one of the main reasons why I'm so interested in the subject is because my family and I are survivors of this broken system of probate, where due process rights are laughed at as if it's a joke when it comes to wards and their family members, where wards are victimized, family members are victimized, and accused of being the villain when in fact it's those that are sitting in power. And those that sit in power authority go out of their way to hurt your family members, your loved ones, and the ones that's trying to protect those family members as a way of punishment for daring to speak up against the abuse and the tyranny that is probate court. In 2004, my sister, Kim Marie Edwards, who was an elementary school teacher and who was working on her master's in reading education, and who also decided to give back to the community by teaching in Detroit public schools, went to have a baby like any woman should be able to have a baby, but still being protected and making sure that her and her baby was okay. The hospital at the time, they made some mistakes which resulted in her being declared clinically dead for about 13 minutes. And when she was brought back, she suffered brain injury, and she's been suffering the side effects of that ever since. Although she has improved incredibly since the injury, and she can make informed decisions. She has been doing that for years now. She still needs assistance. At the time this occurred, it was suggested to our mother after she filed a lawsuit for negligence that her daughter, which is my sister Kim, be placed in probate court. And at the time, they put my mother down as the guardian. Little did we know that they were setting us up to be trapped, abused, and tormented by a system that they said was supposed to help us and protect our sister. It started after my sister got a settlement in June of 2009 from the lawsuit. When they saw the money, that's when the greed came in. Before, they barely checked on Kim, and they knew there was no issue. They knew she was well taken care of, and she was fine. However, when she got the money, they automatically rushed to put it in probate court under an irrevocable special needs trust without anyone's consent, including my sister. They told us things such as you had to put it in the probate court, which we found out, at least from my information, wasn't true, and that they would basically let my mother be the trustee or whatever. But long story short, they took the position from her, punished her for daring to try to speak up for her daughter, and punished the rest of the family who tried to speak up for her, all because they wanted my sister's money. And they have taken a substantial amount of her money away from her. At least to my knowledge, over $400,000 has came up missing out of her trust, with none of the people responsible being held accountable. Things that went wrong under my sister, well, under probate court, so-called protection, which isn't protection at all, was them demonizing my mother, saying that she was a poor guardian, when in fact it was the trustee at the time that wasn't doing his job, but he blamed my mother. They put us in a house that's a limit that would blow apart, basically like you would call a limit car that was just set up to fail, yet they blame us for it. When we asked them to fix the home on several occasions, they refused to fix the home, or they did fix the home. They sent somebody out here that was so incompetent and so untrustworthy that they destroyed the home worse than what it was. And then they tried to blame my mother basically because of the trustees' incompetence. We have been ganged up on several occasions by the former trustee and the GAL, the current trustee. Now, and they have done things such as try to put me in prison, saying I was practicing law when I was not. I was writing documentation and doing legal research, which is allowed in Michigan. I never practiced law unauthorized whatsoever. They also did things like try to say that I was doing my job as a caregiver, when they said on one hand that Kim was doing, quote, 1,000% better under my care. But then on the other hand, they try to say I wasn't being a good caregiver because I wasn't going along with their program and then just letting them treat my sister like she was less than human. Earlier, about $400,000 came up missing under the trust. Things have been done to us, such as due process rights denied on several occasions, being told that we had no right to attorney, neither one of us. Me having to spend thousands of dollars to do the job of the trustee, basically to make sure my sister was taken care of. Me being falsely accused of doing things that I did not do, so on. And I have done things to try to help, such as act as a witness for my sister, advocate for my sister on behalf of the courts. They tried to get rid of me by saying I was an interested party. It even got to the point where I had to go to the news, and I'm still trying to go to the news to report their wrongdoing. I started a TikTok a few years ago to tell a little different stories about what was going on with my family and so on and so forth. I've also decided to attend law school because I was busy taking care of my sister and my niece and helping my niece out at the time. I ended up going to an online law school, and I just graduated this year, April 29, 2025, with a Juris Doctorate, as I mentioned earlier. And I plan to use that degree after I take the bar exam in Michigan, which I have to petition for to take the bar exam because it's an online law school. It's not ABA accredited. After that's done, I take the bar. I plan on practicing in Michigan to help out other families such as myself and my family members. The amount it costs in money, because I had to pay legal fees to try to help my sister, pay for things around the house, to repair things. I've learned how to repair things myself around the house, pay for car maintenance, gas, and everything else. I spent over thousands of dollars, and I kind of lost count, but I know it's well over $20,000 that I have spent. Because not just because of taking care of business, the trustees refuse to take care of, but because they're frivolous accusations and them giving us a difficult time every time we go to court, but then trying to blame me, saying I'm making it more difficult when all they had to do was their job in the first place, and none of this would occur, but they refused to do so. And this has been emotionally draining, especially to the point, for example, when our mother passed away in 2018, I was attacked. As I said earlier, my reputation was attacked. They defamed me in court. And it caused me to develop anxiety. I developed panic attacks. I had issues with trusting people, trusting the justice system, the court system, and I believe I have what is called legal abuse syndrome, which is basically PTSD rather caused by being abused in the legal system. I believe this matters to the public because this can happen to anybody. Anybody that has a loved one that's older or elderly or has a disability, or anybody that develops a disability or so on, can end up in this system. All it takes really is one phone call, false report, whatever, by social services, by another family member, by a friend, by a stranger you don't even know, to put you in this abusive system. So I believe everybody needs to not only know about the system and the negative aspects of it, but to help reform the system so things that happen to my family and happen to my sister would not happen to anyone else. And other family members that's dealing with this stuff, like me and my sister and our family, can have a place to go to for help. I'm sharing the full story over time, like different stories about things that occurred, things that happened. And I may also be like putting up documentation to show what has been done. I believe the public deserves to know how the probate court system in Michigan is acting, and basically how probate court systems in different states act. But the main focus of these videos will be on Michigan probate court. But if I come across some other stories similar to mine or whatever that's in another court district, in another district, or it's even in another state, then I will do my best to bring it to your attention. What to expect for this channel is basically reading different stories inside probate court, guardianship cases that I could come across, my own story, my family story about what we've been through. Later on, when I get my license to practice law, I will be doing legal breakdowns in plain English of different cases, like whether or not I think what the judge did or lawyer did is legal or not, and why, and explain different things like that. But until then, I'll be basically just giving out legal information instead. That way, you guys can go look it up if you need to. And I won't be practicing law because I'm not allowed to practice law in Michigan until I get my not only my Juris Doctorate, which I have, but also get my license to practice law after passing the bar too. And I'm able to find guests. I will also be doing interviews with different people and their perspective of dealing with the situation, even interviews with family members. I maybe talking to my sister herself if she gives me permission to post what she says on YouTube, and also to her daughter and her guardian about how they see things and what's going on and going from there. And also to other people and other family members, if I'm able to get people to agree to an interview and to be posted on YouTube or to be posted in general social media, then I will do those interviews as well. In the interviews, I would prefer to mostly allow them to speak and say what they have to say. I may have questions here or there, but I may just make it simple and just say, can you please tell us your story about what happened to you? How did probate court treat you? And what did you do about it? Did anything get resolved? Basically, will probably be my main questions, but I may have follow-up questions during the interview if there's something that I don't understand or something I believe they should elaborate on to further expose the corruption that's in probate court. To you, if something like this occurred with you or a loved one or a friend or just your next door neighbor, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because we will be going in depth about these different situations. And it may be something on here that may be able to help you out or your loved one. Please work to build awareness of this problem. Drop a comment in the comment section if you would like to share your story. We're not alone anymore. We thought we was alone, but we realized we wasn't alone when we saw all the other families going through the same thing. And you're not alone either.